Abstract Art Festivala. Evo, danas je predivan dan, predivno otvorenje i želimo se zahvaliti ravnateljici Centra za kulturu Trešnjevka, Dorotea Šušak, i Ministarstvu kulture i medija Republike Hrvatske i izraelskoj udruzi prijateljstva. Počinjemo festival sa predivnim filmom naših gostiju iz Izraela. Jako moćan film i zanimljiv. Znamo da budete uživali. Dokumentarni film se zove Puni krug, Ljubav, seksualnost i moć života. Redateljica filma Rona Soffer i njezini gosti će nakon filma predložiti publici diskusiju, da to možete upotrijebiti ovaj mikrofon i sudjelovati aktivno u radu. Uživajte u filmu.
Hello, hi, good morning everyone. My name is Gili Hammer. I'm from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. I'm an anthropologist. I've been studying disability studies for almost 20 years. And I will say a few words as an introduction to Rona's discussion and movie. Today we will have a film and discussion about the connection between disability and sexuality. And usually we think that there is some kind of a conflict or opposition between those terms. If I ask my students, tell me your associations about disability, the stigmatic associations, they will say, you know, immobility, dependency, maybe old age, maybe illness. And if I ask them, tell me your association about sexuality, they would say the opposite, right? Youth, mobility, vitality. So we have this imaginary in our culture that disability and sexuality do not go together, or maybe the opposite of one another. And what we will see today with Rona, her work shows us that it's not necessarily the opposite, and that it is actually very important to connect them together, especially for people with disabilities, especially for young people with disabilities. That we shouldn't treat them as people who do not have a sexuality. And statistics show that actually sexual harassment or sexual harm toward young people with disabilities is very high. So it's a vulnerable population that may experience sexual harassment, and at the same time it's a population that do not get sexual education, because there is this notion that sexuality has nothing to do with disabled people's lives. So this is a problem, and Rona is really one of the leading people in the world working in this field of disability and sexuality. She gives explanation and instructions in Israeli hospitals to doctors, to people who are newly injured about their body, and I'm happy that we can be here today with you. So I will pass the microphone to Rona.
Thank you for coming. I'm very happy to be להגיד, ככל שתהיה יותר מלוכלכת, ככה הסרטון יהיה יותר ויראלי. זה בגלל הפגיעה במושגות?
אני חושבת שזה בגלל הפגיעה בגזע המוח גם, שאני כל הזמן כן, זה לא טבעי, זה לא מפריק.
למה הוא מפריק?
היי קלאס. שעברתי שכל התייחסו לכל מכלול הגוף שלי, ריבוי בדיבור, ריבוי בעיסוק, ריבוי בבריחה, אבל אף אחד מעולם ובשום חלק מהשיקום שלי לא דיבר איתי על מיניות, אף אחד לא דיבר איתי על תודעת גוף, על הסתכלות של ילדה מתבגרת שמסתכלת על הגוף שלה ופתאום כאילו לא בינה רעניה ממנו. לא הוצגה בפני האופציה שאני עדיין אדם מיני. מאז גיל 15 אני למעשה כל הזמן גוף. אני כולי גוף, אני לא יכולה לרגע להתעלם מהגוף הזה, מהנשימות שלי, מהצעדים שלי, מהתזוזתיות שלי, והמיניות היא חלק מההסתכלות על הגוף כמשהו שהוא גם יכול להחליף, הוא גם יכול לענג. כאילו למה הם מסתכלים עליי? כי אני מתלבשת מגניב, או כי אני הולכת מוזר, כי הרגליים שלי ארוכות, או כי הרגליים שלי עקומות. מסתכלים עליי, זה ככה פשוט. תמיד, בכל מקום, בכל מצב. אז לפחות שזה יהיה מהסיבות הנכונות.
So, sexuality is a central aspect of being human throughout life and encompasses sex, gender identities and roles, sexual orientation, eroticism, pleasure, intimacy, and reproduction. It is experienced and expressed in thoughts, fantasies, desires, beliefs, attitudes, values, behaviors, practices, roles, and relationships.
Hvala svima, thank you everyone. After this you can start with questions and answers if you have any questions. Možemo imati, možete postaviti pitanje naše autorice ako želite.
Poštovanje Rona, jako bi drago što sam vas upoznala. Obraćam vam se kao osoba s invaliditetom, ali ja imam nevidljivi invaliditet i stoga mi je, moram priznati, lakše naći partnera. To je činjenica.
Dear Rona, I'm talking to you also as a person with disability, but I have an invisible disability.
Čestitam ti na hrabrosti, jer ovo što smo vidjeli je inače tabu tema kod osoba s invaliditetom.
I congratulate you on your courage because this is usually a taboo topic on people with disability.
Mogu ti jedino dati podršku s moje strane kao osoba s invaliditetom prema osobi s invaliditetom, ali isto kad tako ti mogu dati podršku kao žena ženi i reći da je sve u glavi.
I can only give you support as one person with disability to another and also as a woman to woman and say to you that it's all in the head.
You know that's truth. Želim te pitati, da li si na kraju uspjela u tvome naumu, da li si danas u vezi ili si još uvijek u potrazi?
I want to ask you, have you succeeded in your search? Are you still searching or are you now in a relationship?
First, I did this film a few years ago. Today, I'm in a very happy relationship. This is my partner.
Snimila sam ovaj film prije nekoliko godina i danas sam u sretnoj vezi i ovo je moj partner.
Bravo!
Da li svi razumiju engleski? Does everyone speak English?
I have found out something very important after I did this film. I found the answer. And the answer is, listen carefully, the answer is, dum-da-dum-da-dum, that there is no answer.
Anyone else? You can raise your hand if you have a question.
Kako su se upoznali?
How have you met Omri?
Actually, it's a funny story. I'm doing lectures about disability and sexuality. I think the subject is very important to raise and to talk about. So one day I went to how do you call it? The Faculty of Gender
sexuality and like what would be your advice to people with disabilities about how to address other people when they present themselves in a sexual way?
It's not easy, this question. I cannot ever say that it's only in your head, because it's a stupid sentence. But I do say that you first have to believe in yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to know your body. You have to explore your body and to be confident. And only after that, you know, if it doesn't come, fucking somebody else will come.
If there are no other questions, so we're going to present. Okay, and now Omri Tancman will do his presentation.
I just want to say something about the boys, about men, that I love women and I love men, but if to be with a man, so only with a feminist one. So please, Omri Tancman.
I will try to overcome this wonderful section. And I'm going to address, and the way I want to address Rona's movie is through my field of research. I'm a PhD student at Hebrew University under the supervision of Dr. Gili Hammer. And my field of research is disability, masculinity, and the military. So, and what I will really briefly talk about is two movies. We talk about disabled veterans, young disabled veterans, and their way to cope with the issue of sexuality among men. And the way I think it might reflect some difference about the legitimacy, the gender legitimacy of sexuality among disabled men or women. So, just like a really brief introduction. When we talk about masculinity in the military, so in many places, especially in Israel, it's the military is a key way for the ideal type of masculinity, for the hegemonic masculinity. Okay, the image of the warrior. And one of the ways that armies all around the world attract boys to go into the army is that the army will make a man out of you. Okay, that's a very key way to attract young men. And when we think about disability and masculinity, so maybe in a way, as Gili spoke about the distinction between disability and sexuality, also when usually we think about different ideal types of masculinity in men, we see a figure of someone who is independent and competent and sexually active. And when men, especially when young men turn disabled, and their independence, need to rely on others, there is what Shuttleworth has called the dilemma of disabled masculinity. So it seems contradictory. And in terms of movies, two movies that I think about when we think in culture about it really describe the cultural image of disabled veterans, and I will briefly talk about them, is one, maybe some of you have seen it, Born on the 4th of July. Tom Cruise, it's like one of his first roles, directed by Oliver Stone. And the other is, in Hebrew, you call it Lo Sam Zayin, okay? In English it's translated into I Don't Give a Damn. And basically they tell a very similar story. There is a young man, a warrior, is injured in battle and becomes paralyzed in both cases. And this injury leads to a masculinity crisis and to a sexuality crisis. Okay, so both of them, after their injury, one will say, how will I get laid? The other will say, who will love me? Okay, and in a way, they both show some kind of a myth in the sense that once they solve one aspect of their sexuality crisis, they are in a recovery. So one is with his partner, and the other found his way into activism against the Vietnam War in the case of Born on the 4th of July. But in a way, it's a myth that they were potent, they were warriors, they became disabled, and they have this kind of recovery both to their masculinity and to their sexuality. And one of the key moments in each movie, and I think this is interesting, is that their sexual recovery goes through, I remind you, it's 80s and 70s, through prostitution. And it is if it's almost not legitimate to go prostitute necessarily, but that we see in the way that the movie is depicted, that their sexuality is a given. So there are young men who were injured, and basically what we see is a reclaiming of their masculinity and of their sexuality. So something that there was theirs, they lost it, and now it's completely normal that they will want it back and they will want to restore it. And I think in Rona's case, we see something very different, and the movie shows it quite good. It's not that she needs to reclaim her sexuality, she actually needs to legitimize it. So, as a young woman, maybe, it's almost obvious as if she is not sexual. So these young men were sexual. We all assume that they will want something. This is the message we receive in these movies. And Rona, in her case, she actually needs to go and take a camera and present it. And even 10, 15 years after the movie was screened, it's not that obvious. And I think this is, to me at least, from my research, I think it's also an interesting way to think about Rona's movie, but also about the difference in the way some of us, or maybe culture in general, perceives the legitimacy of sexuality among women compared to men, and disabled women in this case. Okay. Thank you for listening. And now, Rona will continue. And I try to be as impartial as I can be.
ייתכן שהייתי מתוודה על עצמי. כן, זה קרה מזמן, כשהיית קטן, כשרדפת בהילוך איתי אחרי הזמן, כשלקחת את הסם, כשהיית נרדם על ספסל בשכונה, בוהה לאופק ונעלם. כן, לא צריך מזומן לבקר את אלוהים בשעות שהוא כבר קם, וכמה מוקדם. עשית שטות, תמיד ידעת, אבל חשבת שכלום לא יקרה. אתה לא תשתנה, לא תיפגע, לא תהפוך לאדם עוזר. שעות בין 4, לב במכנסיים, כמה פעמים אתה פספסת, כמה כמיהה בינתיים. רצית לגעת, ניסית לדעת איך לכבוש לה את הלב בעינייך. אני מתקרב, שכח אותי אם אתה מאמין בשמש, מותח ביקורת על הפרחים, סומך על הרוחות. שכח אותי, שכח אותי. נולדתי לתוך עולם מתויק מדי, עמוס שיקולים והתחייבויות אין ספור. שכח אותי, שכח אותי. עכשיו ערב, נשברה לך חרב, אתה מסתובב כמו כלב, לא מוצא את הבית. זית זה שיש עכשיו במקרר, אתה מתעורר, נאבד, מתערער, מסתחרר, מתפרפר. תל אביב עצובה, קינג ג'ורג' דממה, גם הלב שלך זה לא בדיוק מטליד נקייה, מלא בבתים שלא תוכל לפגוש. לכולם יש דרך, לך יש רדיו בראש. שלום לך בני, נעים להכיר, כל כך הרבה שנים שאני דיברתי אל הקיר, אבל בסוף עברתי, אתה לא תאמין, את כל המשוכות, הקשיים, הדאגות, ועכשיו אני כאן בשביל להיות לך הגן, חלק מגוף, כל שתבקש ממני אתה תלמד שאם רוצים הכל מתממש. כל החלומות, הנשים היפות, המילים משונות, הסיפורים הפעימות של הלב המרגיש, האוהב החדיש מתחדש בכל יום, בכל יום, בכל יום. אתה תהיה יעלום. בכל יום, בכל יום, בכל יום. שכח אותי אם אתה מאמין בשמש, מותח ביקורת על הפרחים, סומך על הרוחות. שכח אותי, שכח אותי. נולדתי אל תוך עולם מתויק מדי, עמוס שיקולים והתחייבויות אין ספור. שכח אותי, שכח אותי. אילו נולדתי 50 שנה קודם לכן, ייתכן שהייתי אילו נולדתי 50 שנה קודם לכן.
Any more questions? No, then thank you for coming, and please stay for the next show, which will start at 10 minutes to 3 p.m. You can continue with the performance by blind and deaf group.